Welcome back, degenerates. Sometimes I feel compelled to revisit a watch. Most of the time I'll cover a watch again just to exploit it for more views, but every once in a while I'll come across a watch that just deserves more coverage. In this case, it's the Seiko SPB409 Alpinist. I initially bought it on an impulse, a shits and giggles watch if you will, and even my initial review was indicative of that. And wouldn't you know it, 2 months later this watch is stuck to my wrist like shit on Velcro. I can't find the willpower to keep it off for longer than a day, and when I do, I'm constantly thinking about it. I always thought the Alpinist was a gimmicky watch, but this sneaky little bastard has snuck into my list of current all-time favorite watches. So long story short, I want to give this watch a redo review because it most definitely deserves one.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Starting off with price, a lot of you are going to roll your eyes at MSRP, which is $1,300. Personally, I bought mine from Arizona Fine Time for $1,100. $1,100 is still a lot of money for a fairly basic office GMT watch, and all I can say is, it is what it is. I liked it enough to think it was worth it. Dimensions are outstanding. I initially said it was kind of thick and heavy, but after a few months I've realized that it's thick with 2 C's and heavy like a solid handshake. Nothing about the dimensions is too much. Rather, it goes to the max limits of tasteful without exceeding them. On the wrist it feels like a pleasingly dense bundle of quality that is easy to obsess over as a watch nerd. For reference, my wrist is 7.75 inches or 19.6 centimeters in thick nasty girth. The watch is powered by a 6R series GMT movement, which isn't something I'd consider as horologically trend-setting, but it's a good enough movement that offers the bells and whistles that will satisfy anyone that's not overly nitpicky. The 72-hour power reserve and decorated rotor is enough to at least please me. For hardware, from top to bottom, there's a sapphire crystal, an internal rotating compass bezel, a screw-down crown, and a screw-down caseback. Even with the rotating bezel, Seiko stands firm on this watch being suitable for diving with a water resistance rating of 200 meters. I'm not here to challenge that rating, but what I will say is from personal experience, the watch can handle diving into a family-sized bag of chili cheese Fritos with no problem. As always, from Seiko, the lume is outstanding. They might not be able to line up a bezel, but god damn it do they know how to inject some juicy glow into their watches. I like this turquoise blue glow as I find it more futuristic, and the precise application adds to the professional style that this watch captures well. The dial is something else. Maybe I'm putting it on a pedestal because I'm a degenerate Seiko fanboy, and you know what? I don't give a shit. I think this dial is beautiful. I mean, just look at it. Silver sunburst background, classic field watch indices, a touch of red and blue, and cathedral hands. Are you kidding me? This is the kind of stuff that horological wet dreams are made of. Okay, so the 4:30 date window might be shit, but that doesn't bother me. All of that surrounded by the exceptionally juicy brushed GMT bezel just locks it all in for me. And moving on to the crown, it's pretty straightforward here. No special designs or logos, which in this case is fitting, as I think that would detract from the overall design, which is iconic enough. The action is good, but I do find the crown guards tend to get in the way. Of course, they don't make things impossible, they just get in the way slightly more than I'd like. The compass bezel crown freely spins with no locking mechanism. I used to think this was a design oversight because it'd be stupid to have a bezel spinning all willy-nilly, but in reality, the bezel doesn't spin that easily, and unless you're violently doing things with your arm, the bezel stays still. I can personally attest to this because I keep the bezel with north pointing to 12 and it has consistently stayed at 12, and I run on the treadmill like a wild banshee daily with this thing on the wrist. I still think the compass bezel is a useless gimmick, at least to me, but it is a feature that has grown on me for the simple fact that it is a quintessential component of the Alpinist. And the fact that it doesn't reduce its ability to get drenched in water also makes it more palatable to me. The exhibition caseback is standard within the 6R range, which is completely acceptable. No need to fix something that's not broken. The decorated rotor has a rose gold tone to it, and it's a far enough departure from the overall color scheme of the watch that it grabs your attention, but subtle enough to still blend in a very pleasing way. I work with two casual Seiko enthusiasts, and they were blown away by the visual presentation of the movement, and it was a good reminder that things like this have always been and will continue to be quite cool. The 409 comes with a leather strap and 3-link bracelet. I think that's a nice touch and definitely adds to the overall luxe experience. However, these things will remain in the box. Personally, I don't do leather because wrist sweat and leather is disgusting, and I think the 5-link strap code bracelet showcases the Alpinist better. Case finishing is in line with other Seikos of this caliber, and that's a good thing. Brushed on the top and polished on the chamfers and sides, this watch has a humble and comforting glow that will resonate with any Seiko fan. I'm not here to tell you that the finishing is anything overly remarkable to justify a $1,000 price tag. I'm just here to say that, like taking a tight blonde on an expensive date, it's very nice to look at. I usually try my best to be unbiased and as objective as possible, but Seiko watches like this have a spell over me where I forego any commitment to objectivity and am reduced to a bumbling idiot fangirl. What can I say? The total package resonates with my style. Watches like this capture so well the essence of what I consider to be a father's watch. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the watch your dad would have cherished in the 80s, and consequently you grew up being attached to it because it symbolized the apex of quality to you, at least as a child. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but it's the best way I can describe why a watch like this is so damn appealing to me. Whatever it is, the Alpinist GMT is a mixture of objectively good things and intangible X factors that work together to make the wrist-wearing experience an absolute joy for me. That's all I got for now. Stay classy. I sure as hell won't.